Thanks for watching. We'll see you again later tonight for another edition of On Balance at 7, 6 Central.
This morning, the house where 4 University of Idaho students were stabbed to death is set to be demolished.
It's just really a daily reminder of the horrific act that happened there. And being able to bring that house down brings some closure to those students in that area.
Why the parents of 2 victims say it's too soon. We're live in Idaho, and a former FBI agent weighs in. The Israel Defense Forces showing off a newly discovered tunnel they say Hamas used near a hospital and schools. Meanwhile, Israel's air and ground assaults continue as thousands of Gazans try to find safer ground. We're live with the latest. And we're also in Florida, where residents are bracing for a sonic boom later today when a secretive unmanned mini shuttle heads into orbit. Space Force is keeping most of the details under wraps. What we know about the mission and a second possible launch tonight. And a successful, though bouncy landing for this American Airlines flight. What caused the pilots to struggle? It's Morning in America.
From our NewsNation headquarters in America's heartland, it's time for News for All America.
Yeah, thanks for waking up with us, everybody. We are following several developing stories this morning, so let's get straight to it. Today, in just a matter of hours, the house where 4 Idaho college students were murdered last year, it's set to be demolished, even as 2 of the victims' families contest to wait until after the trial next year of suspect Bryan Kohberger. Nancy Liu is live in Idaho to give us both sides of this story.
Plus, pressure mounts for local, state, and federal leaders as thousands of migrants head toward the border. Mayors in major cities plead for help dealing with their already overwhelmed resources as migrants continue to be bussed and flown in. Tom Dempsey joins us from Washington with the latest after U.S. leaders met with Mexico's president.
And Israel's new offensive in Gaza, forcing Palestinians to flee crowded urban refugee camps Israel claims are harbors for Hamas terrorists. All of this as hospitals struggle to treat all of those injured civilians. We take you live to Israel for the very latest. Those stories and more just ahead.
But first, we begin in Moscow, Idaho, where the families of 2 University of Idaho students killed last year are urging the school not to tear down the home where the murders took place.
Their statement coming as demolition on the house is set to begin. Nancy Liu is in Moscow, Idaho with the latest. And Nancy, a lot of mixed emotions surrounding this demolition later this morning.
Very much so, Markie, and the demolition is supposed to start in about 4 hours, and that is against the wishes of 2 of the victims' families and many who believe that this can wait until after the trial of Bryan Kohberger. But neither the prosecution nor the defense is contesting the university's goal to have this infamous rental home demolished and cleared within the next week or so, specifically before students return to campus from winter break. Extensive 3D imaging, videos, photos, and measurements have been documented inside, where Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Maddie Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves were stabbed to death last November, just over a year ago. Many argue the scene should be preserved in case of a possible jury visit during trial. The Gonsalves and Kernodle families are calling the demolition madness, noting that the physical structure may answer questions about access points, views, vantages, and audio capabilities inside. In a joint statement, the family said, in part, if the home is demolished, will all of these questions be able to be answered later on with diagrams, models, technology, etc., if they become an issue at trial? If not, then leave the home alone. But the university says the house is a painful reminder.
And being able to bring that house down brings some closure to those students in that area.
The building owner donated the home to your university after the murders, and it's been under guard ever since. Kohberger remains behind bars at the Latah County Jail, less than 2 miles away. Prosecutors have asked the judge for a summer trial date when, again, most students will be away. Now, we're told that the demolition may take just a day or so, and they hope to remove the debris and clear this property in about a week or so. And according to the university, prosecutors have told them that this home has been altered, the interior altered so much that a jury visit would not be able to happen under Idaho law. Markie?
All right, Nancy, we know you're on top of it, especially as that demolition happens live in just a matter of a few hours. Nancy, thanks. Turning now to NewsNation's Law and Justice contributor, Jennifer Koffendorfer. Jennifer, really good to have you always, especially on a morning like this. 2 of the 4 victims' family members have released a statement urging President Scott Green to stop the demolition this morning. As you know, this has garnered really polarizing opinions as to what should happen to this home. I'm just first curious where you stand on this. Is demolishing this home ahead of trial a mistake today?
I think it's a mistake, Markie. Look, once you demolish it, you can never get it back. And that house, even though it's been altered, still can answer a lot of questions for jurors. It can answer what those stairs sound like. It could answer a question of Dylan Mortensen. What was her angles when she saw the intruder? It can answer the proximity of that house to that ring camera that recorded very important information that we have in the probable cause affidavit. So I think it will be a true mistake if this house is demolished, which it looks like it's going to be, Markie.
Yeah, in just 4 hours. You know, Jennifer, I have the statement from the Gonzalez and the Kernodle families right in front of me here. They list off a litany of questions, you know, how will you be able to answer these if the house is gone? Is there audio evidence? What can you hear standing outside the house? What can you hear inside the house? What were the vantage points of the roommates? The president of the university obviously made a very different decision here, and we can argue all day long, you know, for legal or trial reasons, should this house stay? But is the president, should he have been more obligated to the current students and staff at this university and their healing process? Did he make the right choice for the school, I guess?
I think when you put into the balance, Markie, possible justice being affected in terms of juror decisions if they ended up touring that house, compared with the eyesore or the, you know, view that it holds some sort of reminder. Look, no one is going to forget what happened there. And I just think when you weigh that out, that house should stay.
Yeah. You know, in cases like this where the scene of the crime will be destroyed before a trial is even set to begin, for the prosecution and also the defense, what kind of access have they had? What have they recorded to be able to show to this jury next year, who, of course, won't be able to walk it and see it for themselves?
Well, they're going to be able to make a model. They're going to have amazing video coverage of what happened. But Markie, as I always say, just think of the video that you might see when you're looking for a home, and then you go to the home and you say, wait a minute, that ceiling is way taller, or, oh my gosh, the acoustics are terrible in here, or those stairs are creaking. So no video will ever take the place. And recall too, Markie, in the Murdaugh trial, how important that visit was. Jurors spent over 30 minutes there, and jurors said later, that really helped them make the decision.
Yeah, and so, you know, with this specific case, you bring up that point, with this jury not being able to walk the home, see the home, like you're saying, how will that impact their decision making? And do you think there's already so much evidence stacked up against Kohberger that a house tour wouldn't make much of a difference here?
Well, certainly the prosecution is holding that. That's what they believe, Markie. They think that they have such a strong case, they don't need the house. Meanwhile, the defense is saying, we don't want anyone in that murder house. That's how it would be viewed. So neither side really cares about this house remaining. But who does care, as we've pointed out, are these victim families, Markie. And we don't know how it will affect the jurors, and now we will never know.
Yeah, and Jennifer, just a couple seconds left. Is there any chance something changes at the 11th hour here? Were these families asking the legal system to put a stop to this? Is there any chance that request comes to fruition?
I don't think so, Markie, especially since the prosecution nor the defense has asked for it. And interestingly, Markie, it's in the hands of the president of the University of Idaho. And that is the interesting part. He could change his mind, but it seems like this train is rolling way down the track at this point, and it's not going to change.
Yeah, we know this house was given to the school after these heinous murders took place by the homeowner. So, yeah, in the school's hands this morning. Jennifer Coffendorfer, thank you so much. And I imagine we'll be talking to you more about this soon. Thanks.
Thank you, Markie.
Today, a woman who convinced her boyfriend to kill her mother is scheduled to be paroled from a prison in Missouri. Gypsy Rose Blanchard pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in 2016. Ms. Blanchard says her mother forced her to pretend she was sick with leukemia, among other illnesses, since she was a child. She convinced her online boyfriend to stab her mother once she realized she wasn't as sick as her mom had claimed. Nicholas Godejean is serving a life sentence for first-degree murder. Blanchard's story became the focus of a popular Hulu miniseries in 2019 called The Act. Markie?
Well, pressure is growing on the Biden administration to tackle the ongoing surge of migrants at the southern border, with 6,000 to 8,000 making their way to Texas by walking through Mexico. Our Tom Dempsey is live in Washington with the latest following Wednesday's high-stakes meeting with Mexico's president and U.S. secretaries. Tom, what came of yesterday? Anything?
Hey, Markie. Yeah, this morning, look, after that meeting in Mexico, the border crisis only seems to be growing worse for President Joe Biden. Not only could December possibly set a record for encounters at the border, but also to migrants, that caravan, like you said, continues to move closer to Texas. And also on top of that, we're seeing that mayors in some major cities are continuing to plead for help as to how to deal with those busloads of migrants being bussed up to their areas. Like you said, though, this all comes after that big meeting in Mexico with Secretary of State Antony Blinken, as well as Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. They met with the president of Mexico on Wednesday, all to discuss the surging number of encounters at the border. The talks centered around enforcement at entry points and also intercepting migrants in Mexico. In a post to social media, the president of Mexico saying both sides struck important deals and they were reached during the meeting without sharing details, though, about that. According to a new poll from Pew Research, though, President Biden will need to make progress handling immigration in the new year, as it found just 32% of people said they remained confident President Biden can make wise decisions about the border crisis, down from 53% 2 years ago. And now the mayors of New York City, Chicago, and Denver are putting out a plea for help dealing with the crowds of migrants being bussed and flown up from the border. Over the last year, Texas has bussed more than 80,000 migrants to Democratic-led cities. New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced an executive order requiring buses chartered by Texas to arrive in the morning hours at a specific spot and to give 36 hours notice, or they could face fines or lawsuits. Chicago and Denver have similar rules in place, but the mayor's saying that much more help is needed.
We cannot allow buses with people needing our help to arrive without warning at any hour of day and night. This not only prevents us from providing assistance in an orderly way, it puts those who have already suffered so much in danger.
There is no federal support, there's no coordinated entry, there's no work authorization. And I think cities would have to look at dramatically reducing the amount of services we offered or dramatically cutting our city budgets.
Now, back here in D.C., expect negotiations over a massive spending bill addressing border security to pick up over the next 2 weeks here between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats, of course, want to see tens of billions of dollars dedicated to the Ukrainian war effort. But in return for that, Republicans want to see things like more border agents hired and more resources given to border operations to speed up asylum cases. Guys.
Tom Dempsey live for us this morning. Tom, thank you. Let's bring in the sheriff for Terrell County, Texas, Thad Cleveland. Terrell County has about 50 miles of shared border with Mexico, and Sheriff Cleveland is also a former Border Patrol agent. Sheriff Cleveland, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Smith. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. Sheriff, border crossings have hit record levels with reports showing 10,000 migrants coming across in just one day, and a 2,000-person caravan moving its way up to the U.S. right now. How do you plan on handling that influx?
You know, and I'll be honest with you, regardless how many are going to come up in this next caravan, and of course, initially it was reported as 8,000, it's kind of dropped, but we're so used to dealing with these continuing numbers that continue to reach higher levels. we're going to do what we do. We're going to help Border Patrol out here at the local level. We're going to continue to support our governor with the resources he gives us, and we're just going to, one day at a time, and just, when you think it can't get any worse, it continues to. I'm almost speechless, to be honest.
Sheriff Cleveland, I can hear the frustration in your voice. I have to tell you this, though. One of the things that stood out at me, just before you came on, Tom Dempsey had a report that included a soundbite from Mayor Adams where he talked about you just can't have these people show up with buses arrive without warning. That's exactly what's happening to you.
Definitely, right here on the border. And I'll tell you what our governor has done by busing people to sanctuary cities, by flying people to sanctuary cities, they're feeling the pain that we felt for the last 3 years. And I'll tell you what, we're gonna have to suffer through this one more year. There's not going to be a fix. I'm optimistic with those talks that they had in Mexico yesterday. I really am. But an old Border Patrol chief, Chief Aguilar, taught me years ago that hope's not a strategy. So we have to continue to be ready for what's coming at us next. We have to continue to be ready to protect and defend not just our borders, but our local citizens.
Sheriff Cleveland, hope is not a strategy, but you feel good about those talks yesterday. What message do you think it sends, though, that President Biden did make the trip to Mexico himself and instead sent Secretary of State Antony Blinken and other top-ranking officials?
Again, I'm going to remain optimistic, but to be honest, look, we're in an election year. This whole mess has been created by policy. Look, it can be solved overnight. I've said that many times. All it takes is to bring back policies that worked, to hold Mexico's feet to the fire. Mexico, they don't want anything to do with the border. They don't care about the U.S.-Mexico border because people aren't staying in their country. They're coming to the United States. But what's important to them is obviously the trade and travel that happens between the two countries. So until we really get tough with Mexico, as President Trump did, and tell them we're going to hold you accountable, they're not going to do anything. But once we get a president in office who's going to really hold their feet to the fire, then we'll see a change.
Sheriff Cleveland, it is clear that a policy change is necessary. 2 quick questions before I let you go. The mayors of New York, Chicago, and Denver once again asked for federal government to step in and provide help with the growing numbers of migrants being bused to their cities from the border. Sheriff Cleveland, I can tell you there are so many people in my own circle who became, oh, Nick, I didn't know there was a migrant problem. Well, clearly you haven't been down to the border. It seems as though these larger cities now having to deal with this are shining a spotlight on an issue you've had to deal with for years.
Forever. And I'll tell you what, I like to point back to when I first came in the Border Patrol in 1996. Look, I worked under 4 different presidential administrations, President Clinton to President Bush to President Obama to President Trump. All 4 of those administrations, they advanced the border security. They all built some sort of fencing. Yes, some more than others, but they all did the border security. What we have right now, we have a president that came in. We have his administration, the people that are really pulling the strings behind him, that have completely dismantled our border. The things that we put in progress, the infrastructure, the technology, they've demoralized our agents. I still talk to them daily, to agents, friends across the border, and they truly are demoralized. But I tell you what, they're patriots. They go out there and they do the job they have to do every day, and we're going to be here to support them any way we can.
Demoralized but proud of the job that they do. Our own Allie Bradley, who is at the border, constantly talks about the men and women who continue to show up every day trying to do the best that they can with limited resources. Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, good morning. God bless y'all. Thank you.
Same to you, sir.
The Colorado Republican Party is now asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn a ruling that bans President Trump from being on that state's 2024 primary ballot. Of course, this was huge breaking news last week. The state GOP claiming that leaving President Trump off the ballot is a violation of the First Amendment, saying the ruling takes away the constitutional right of political parties to pick the candidate of their choice. And of course, just yesterday, Michigan deciding and ruling to keep Trump on theirs.
Markie, I know that it's a controversial subject, but it needs to be up to the voters to decide.
Yeah, so we'll see where all of these cases head.
Listen, Israel launching a new battle zone in Gaza to root out Hamas terrorists. The impact this is having on civilian refugees running out of places to hide.
And watch the moment. Everybody, I know you're busy this morning, but come to your screen. Watch the moment that this plane tries to land with several bounces. It wasn't pretty, but it made it on that runway. We're about to tell you what caused the rough end to this overseas flight. That's straight ahead.
you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Wait, you look and sound just like me. Actually, I am you. Because I'm the same news programs on Sling for less. You mean you're me, but for less money? A lot less. I'm all your favorite news programs and more on Sling, starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money, which makes me greater, don't you think? It's the same news for less, starting at $40 a month. Sling.
The all-in-one and done symptom relief of Mucinex is delivered fast with DoorDash, so you don't have to leave the couch. Boom. That was fast. Mucinex, available on DoorDash. It's comeback season.
With the Freestyle Libre 2 system, know your glucose level and where it's headed, no finger sticks needed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence. Freestyle Libre 2. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
With Gold Bond, you can age on your own terms. Retinol Overnight means the smoothing benefits of retinol are now for your whole body. Plus, fast-working crepe corrector diminishes wrinkled skin in just 2 days. Gold Bond, championing your skin.
Ram makes trucks for everyone. Like those with holiday spirit. And those with not so much. We make trucks for good Samaritans, good neighbors, and even people covered in tree sap. Whatever life you live this holiday, Ram has a truck for you.
During the Ram Wrap Up the Year sales event, get 10% below MSRP plus no monthly payments for 90 days on virtually all 2023 Ram light duty and heavy duty trucks.
With Nurtec ODT, I can treat and prevent my migraine attacks all in one.
Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. Allergic reactions can occur even days after using. Most common side effects were nausea, indigestion, and stomach pain. Talk to your doctor about Nurtec today.
Tired of being tracked online? Switch from Chrome to DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is a browser you download to your desktop and mobile devices. Unlike Chrome, the DuckDuckGo browser has privacy built in. It comes with a private alternative to Google search, which doesn't spy on your searches. And it blocks cookies and creepy ads. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on mobile and desktop today.
Hate to miss a minute of your favorite NewsNation shows when you're on the go? Well, now you don't have to. Because NewsNation live streaming audio is available 3 ways. On Amazon Echo.
Alexa, play NewsNation.
On Apple CarPlay.
You know, you can listen to NewsNation with Apple CarPlay.
Or on the NewsNation app.
Hey Siri, launch NewsNation.
NewsNation on the go. When you can't watch, listen.
Welcome back. As President Biden's $61 billion aid request for Ukraine stalls on Capitol Hill, the U.S. taking an alternative route to help. The Pentagon announcing it's using the Presidential Drawdown Authority to unilaterally send up to $250 million worth of weapons. The aid will be pulled from U.S. stockpiles. The Pentagon warning until a deal is struck on Capitol Hill, there is no money to replace the stockpile, compromising our own national security.
And taking you to Gaza now, Israel's new offensive across the center of the Strip, forcing Palestinians to flee crowded urban refugee camps, which Israel claims are harbors for Hamas terrorists. Displaced Palestinians constantly on the move, looking for safety. Chaos inside of a central Gaza hospital. Take a look at some of this video. Doctors and patients, everyone scrambling to treat all of those who are injured. The World Health Organization, I should say, claiming the bombardment of central Gaza has killed more than 100 Palestinians since Sunday. And according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, which does not distinguish between civilian and militant deaths, more than 21,000 people have been killed so far. Associated Press Jerusalem correspondent Isabel Debray has the latest on the ground, including new threats of war between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Isabel, what do we know so far?
It was another very bloody night for the Gaza Strip last night. Israeli forces were bombarding the territory by land, air, and sea from north to south. Really not a region was spared. We saw, interestingly, that in the northern area, where Israel previously said it has exerted nearly full control. This was, remember, one of the first targets of the ground invasion. We saw some deadly strikes there early this morning on the town of Beit Lahia that killed over 20 people. That's according to one of the family members of the survivors. And also, as you mentioned, those urban refugee camps in the center, they have taken very heavy fire, particularly in the last 24 hours. Early this morning, we heard from that hospital where you saw those scenes. They said that they got another 24 people that were killed this morning in that area, and also in the southern town of Khan Yunis. This is an area where Israel believes that many Hamas members have taken refuge after fleeing the north, and they say they're pushing deeper and deeper into the city. We saw a deadly strike there this morning that killed 10 people outside of a hospital where thousands of people were trying to shelter. So as you mentioned, this is sparking a new mass exodus of people across the territory, and that's in a population where already nearly 90% of all people have been displaced. And also, as you mentioned, this is just one front, and there are concerns about tensions erupting on other fronts as well, particularly on the Israeli-Lebanese border, where we saw intense strikes from Hezbollah yesterday. Most of these communities in northern Israel are already evacuated because of fear of these strikes. But this happens after Israel killed a Hezbollah commander in addition to 2 civilians in southern Lebanon. And this, of course, raised fears of a further escalation with Hezbollah, which is more firepower than Hamas, and of course could drag the region into a more intense war. Markie?
Going on month 3 here of war, and these tensions don't seem to be dying down anytime soon. Isabel, thank you for those updates from the front line, and continued safety to you and your team for sure. Also this morning, we know Secretary of State Antony Blinken will travel to the Middle East next week as part of talks with the Israeli government about the war against Hamas. Axios is reporting he is expected to visit the West Bank as well as Qatar, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. This will be Blinken's 5th trip to Israel since the war began on October 7th.
And a new poll from the Daily Mail shows a surprising amount of support for a man who was once considered public enemy #1 of the United States. While the poll's author is blaming TikTok for Osama bin Laden's newfound popularity with younger Americans.
And lawmakers in D.C. are warning Microsoft about their close ties with China. Why the concern over their various AI projects?
And guess what? You have another chance at a big Powerball jackpot.
Woohoo!
Americans all over the country are scrambling to get their $2 tickets. How much money is now on the table?
Are those pillows making you toss and turn? Do you wake up tired and achy? Now you can sleep well all night with the Contour Swan. Ergonomically designed to cradle you from head to toe as it helps align your spine for the best night's sleep of your life. The Contour Swan replaces over 7 pillows. It's a back pillow, a shoulder pillow, head and neck pillow, an arm pillow, a knee pillow, and a leg and foot pillow. And it hugs you in total comfort so you won't toss and turn. And unlike ordinary pillows, the Contour Swan helps align your head and neck perfectly with a huggable area that takes pressure off your shoulders and arms. And it prevents your kneecaps from touching for soothing relief in your lower back, legs, and feet.
Sleeping with all those pillows, my back hurts. But with the Contour Swan, I'm able to get in one spot. When I wake up in the morning, I feel great.
This Contour Swan has changed our lives. We're getting a restful sleep, and best yet, my husband doesn't snore anymore.
And the Contour Swan puts me in the perfect side position in order to have my airways open, allowing me to sleep 6, 7, 8 hours a night.
Plus, Contour Swan is hyperallergenic and will keep you cool all night long. And it fits any body shape in any sleep position. So stop tossing and turning. This body pillow costs over $119. And now on this exclusive offer, the Contour Swan can be yours for 2 easy payments of only $29.99. Plus, you'll receive this washable mesh cover so it stays clean and fresh. Imagine you get the Contour Swan and washable cover for the low price on your screen. We'll even ship it for free. So don't delay. Sleep well all night and order the Contour Swan today.
Call now, 1-800-371-4127, 1-800-371-4127. Again, that's 1-800-371-4127.
Important announcement regarding the dangerous herbicide paraquat. If you or someone you love has developed Parkinson's disease or Parkinson's-like symptoms after being exposed to paraquat, call Saddle Rock Legal Group now. You may be eligible for substantial financial compensation. The dangerous chemical paraquat is used as a commercial and agricultural herbicide spray. Many users were exposed to this toxic chemical through airborne contact with skin and clothing. Paraquat is found in many popular weed killers like gramoxone. It is highly toxic. The Environmental Protection Agency classifies it as restricted use only, and it is banned in many countries worldwide. So if you or a loved one developed Parkinson's disease after working or living on a farm that used herbicides containing the deadly chemical paraquat, call Saddle Rock Legal Group today to see if you qualify for financial compensation. It only takes a few minutes and the call is completely free. Call to discuss your case now.
Call 1-800-875-7711. That's 1-800-875-7711.
Welcome back. This half hour, Osama bin Laden has found some newfound popularity among Gen Z. 1 in 5 say they have a positive view of the late terror leader, while some are blaming TikTok.
Plus, prescription drugs for older patients may soon be a lot more affordable. A look at the new Medicare price negotiation program and how it all works.
And a Space Force mystery. We're previewing the mission an uncrewed space plane is about to take today.
Yeah, we can't wait to see what that's all about. A couple possible launches today. So Xavier Walton's all over it for us in Florida. Now let's take a look at some of the other headlines you'll be talking about this morning.
Yeah, here's what's in the mix, and we're going to start in the nation's capital. Representative Lauren Boebert is changing congressional districts. The Colorado Republican announcing she's going to make a move and run in a more conservative district left vacant by retiring Representative Ken Buck. Boebert calling it a fresh start following a divorce, a video surfacing of her misbehaving on a date, and some say she is avoiding a rematch against a Democrat, Adam Frisch. She narrowly beat him last year, and he has raised much more money than she has so far this election cycle. And former Democratic U.S. Senator and former owner of the NBA's Milwaukee Bucks, Herb Kohl, has died at the age of 88. Herb Kohl Philanthropies announcing his death Wednesday, saying he suffered a brief illness. A popular figure in Wisconsin, Kohl purchased the Bucks to keep them from leaving town. He helped grow the family-owned business Kohl's Grocery and Department Stores. Kohl also used his own money to finance his Senate races, coining the phrase, "Nobody's senator but yours." A sign on his Senate office desk still reads, "The Bucks stop here." And watch the moment. Strong winds from a storm in the UK caused pilots to struggle and have a bouncy landing. Markie and I were talking about this in the break. Okay, Markie, you're taking a look at this. As a pilot, you can see that this American airline jet was flying into London's Heathrow Airport when heavy winds got a hold of that aircraft and caused it to tilt back and forth.
Yeah.
Now, the pilot did manage to control the plane despite the fog and windy conditions.
I can't really speak to commercial flight much. That's not my forte, but I will say if this was wind shear, you know, where those winds are coming horizontally, vertically at you, I mean, it can cause sudden loss of airspeed, power on the plane. I don't know if that's what happened here, but it certainly looks to be that way.
And this is where that quick reaction
caused for an ugly landing, but it made it, you know? It's okay. Everyone's all right. Yeah.
And those pilots might want to buy a lottery ticket because guess what? The lotto, it is big.
Yes.
The Powerball jackpot jumps to a whopping $760 million after no one matched all the winning numbers Wednesday night. That's a one-time cash payout of a little over $382 million. Saturday's drawing is the last one for 2023.
What would you do?
I would probably, like we talked about, say nothing, but the signs would be there.
Yeah.
Like, Nick,
it's my
why
favorite
are
thing.
you sitting
you
in a
know,
gold seat? What's happening?
But there would be obvious signals that we were doing just fine.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll go get our tickets then. Hey, a new study out of Harvard finds that social media companies made more than $11 billion in ad revenue last year, all off of underage users. Researchers at the university say that their study shows the need for D.C. to regulate social media. Now, according to the Harvard research, YouTube pulled in more than $959 million from users under the age of 12. Instagram had nearly $5 billion in ad revenue just last year from users under the age of 17.
A new poll by the Daily Mail is raising some eyebrows after 20% of those surveyed under the age of 30 said that they have a positive view of Osama bin Laden. He was the terror leader behind the 9/11 attacks.
Yeah, our Dre Clark is live at the World Trade Center this morning in New York with details on this very poll. Dre, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you guys. We are here at Ground Zero, and for millions of Americans and thousands of family members, this is considered sacred ground. Behind me is Freedom Tower, a little hard to see this morning because of the fog here, but this marks the spot where close to 3,000 people were killed after terrorists flew 2 airplanes into the World Trade Center, killing everyone on board and also causing the Twin Towers to come crumbling down, killing everyone inside those buildings and many more on the ground. Now, Osama bin Laden gladly claimed responsibility for the 9/11 attacks at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the crash of Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. Now the Daily Mail is revealing the results of their exclusive poll that's being called astonishing and sickening. The daily poll showing nearly 1 in 5 Americans aged 18 to 29 has a positive view of Osama bin Laden. The survey also finding that 3 in 10 Gen Zers believe bin Laden's anti-American, anti-Semitic views and his killing of innocent people was a force for good. Overall, the Daily Mail says 81% of American voters said they have negative views of bin Laden, while just under 1 in 10 view him positively. Now, it's believed the troubling positive views of bin Laden stems from a letter written by the former leader of al-Qaeda 20 years ago and was recently posted on TikTok last month. The letter, titled Letter to America, was written a year after the 9/11 attacks. Bin Laden's words garnered sympathy from many young TikTok users, but the overwhelming collective outrage about TikTok allowing the letter to be featured on its app forced the company to reverse course and pull the letter down. James Johnson is founder of JL Partners, the company that conducted the survey of 1,000 Americans, and he says, like many others, he was disgusted by the results.
Family members of the families of the victims spoke to the Daily Mail about this poll, and they talked about their anger and frustration and disgust at this viewpoint. And all I can say is I sympathise entirely with them, and I completely share their disgust.
Now, that letter has been taken down, but TikTok remains one of the world's most popular apps. Also, the Daily Mail pointing to a recent poll from Pew Research, which indicates just how popular and important TikTok has become in the news business. That poll conducted in November showing, according to the Daily Mail, that the number of Americans now getting their news from TikTok has grown from just 3% in 2020 to 14% in 2023, and the number is only expected to keep going higher. Markie, Nick?
Yeah. Beyond disturbing to see what spreads like wildfire on social media and then infiltrates young minds. Dre Clark, thank you so much.
The race is on to journey deeper into the cosmos. The U.S. military's mysterious space plane is heading back into orbit for its 7th mission today.
So let's check in with Xavier Walton, who is all over this story. Okay, Xavier, what's this all about?
Well, Markie, Nick, you know, I could tell you, but I think NewsNation's going to need to up your classification status with the Space Force. All jokes aside, these are part of the top secret missions that have been going on for a while now. They're extremely classified, but it's part of this space race with various countries. We're going to detail what we can coming up next.
My name is Specialist Arshia Solhi. My job title is Motor Transportation Operator. We're here at McGregor Range training to enhance deployment readiness. I'm originally from Frederick, Maryland, and I'd like to tell my family that I miss them and can't wait to go home. Happy holidays.
Over 13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022, and the threats go way beyond just credit card fraud. Today's identity thieves can use your information in ways that are easy to miss by just monitoring accounts and credit, like opening loans, transferring home titles, even committing crimes.
Someone got my social security number, made a driver's license, and it was used for criminal activity.
You can do so much with a social security number that I didn't know could happen. They drained my bank account. It was terrifying.
You're even more vulnerable than you realize. Your information is exposed through online shopping, banking, even corporate data breaches. No wonder there's a new victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. Only LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats all in one place, like someone trying to use your social security number, open a new loan in your name, or even commit a crime in your name.
There was a big yes button and there was a big no button. I clicked, that's not me, and LifeLock took it from there.
If you become a victim of identity theft, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will be assigned to your case and work to fix the issue on your behalf.
If something happens, you have somebody fighting for you.
All LifeLock members are backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package, including reimbursement for stolen funds, personal expenses, and coverage for lawyers and experts up to $1 million. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. With LifeLock, it's easy to help protect yourself.
I will be with LifeLock forever.
Join the millions of people already protected by LifeLock. And for a limited time, save 25% on your first year with promo code 25TV. All plans include a 60-day money-back guarantee.
Call 800-710-7530.
Or visit lifelock.com/25TV to save 25% on your first year of identity theft protection. Enroll now.
Did you know 80% of women are struggling with hair damage? Dryness and frizz that keeps coming back could be damaged hair that can't retain moisture. You need Pantene's Miracle Rescue Deep Conditioner. It's filled with provitamins to help hair lock in moisture, visibly repairing 6 months of damage in just one use, with no way down. Guaranteed or your money back. For hair that looks healthy and stays healthy. If you know it's Pantene.
Are those blank books? Yes. Sometimes you want to sit with a book, but you don't want to read. As a comedian, I know what funny is. But I also know what isn't, like using the term OCD as a joke. Imagine having unwanted thoughts stuck in your head all day, no matter how hard you try to make them go away. That's OCD. And 1 of 40 people suffer from it globally. But there's hope. If you have OCD and need help, go to nocd.com to learn more.
Consumer Cellular, this is Sam. How may I help you? This is Sam. How may I help you? Oh, this is a butt dial. Well, somebody's butt. Just thought I'd let you know that with Consumer Cellular, you can get the same exact coverage as the leading carriers, but for up to half the price.
I can get behind that.
I know, right? I just talked to a butt. Congrats.
Welcome back. Well, after several technical and weather delays, SpaceX and the U.S. Space Force plan to launch the secretive X37B aircraft today into orbit.
This is long awaited for sure. Many of the spacecraft's mysterious tasks have remained classified, but Space Force did provide a few details about the goals for this unmanned mission. Our Xavier Walton is live in Titusville, Florida, just across from the Kennedy Space Center with what's going on. So, Xavier, is it all systems go for launch today?
Markie, at least right now, we're going to see what this weather does. It's pretty rainy. Just across from Cape Canaveral, which is just over my shoulder, you can see the lights glimmering off in the distance, which is a very huge SpaceX rocket on that launch pad. They're going to roll it out a little bit later, but on top of that, you got this X37B space plane, which has really been, carrying out these secret missions since 2010. Tonight will be the latest one, if it happens. And even though the Space Force has disclosed some of this previous payloads, a lot of the details regarding the plane's orbital activity, that remains classified. And that's where a lot of speculation as to what these space planes are actually doing up there comes into play. But Space Force has repeatedly said this X-37B is simply testing out technologies for future spacecraft and carrying out various experiments. For example, harnessing and transferring solar power energy from space back to Earth. The latest mission, though, is NASA's C2 project. The goal there is to figure out how plant seeds would fare against the high radiation in space. Meantime, all right, so this space plane, is going to join another space shuttle that launched just last week by China's military, highlighting this ongoing space race between the U.S. and various countries.
It's not just the United States that's operating in space. There's a whole host of other countries, including China, as I mentioned, as a competitor and an adversary. And so we have to maintain that leading edge where we were, and I still believe strongly that we're the best in space, but there are other competitors that are coming very close. And the recent launch of China's space plane demonstrates that they're very much focused on not only understanding for themselves what space domain awareness entails, but also how to operate and maneuver spacecraft in a variety of orbits above the Earth.
All right, so the launch is scheduled for 8 o'clock tonight There have been a couple of previous ones that have been either delayed, whether it was a technical issue or the weather, which we are dealing with right now. I do want to leave you with this, Nick. The weather is supposed to clear. It's just a little rainy for our live shots, but tonight it's supposed to clear out, hopefully enough so they can get up and send up that X37B space plane to do, well, the classified work that they're doing up there.
Xavier, I, for one, remain excited about space exploration and what we are able to accomplish. Xavier Walton, live for us this morning, waiting for the launch. Thank you so much, sir.
Man, he got the assignment of the day, huh?
Okay, yeah. I love that. Absolutely. Listen, the White House is cracking down on big pharma prices. A look at the new Medicare price negotiation program and how much money America's older patients may save.
New emergency crystals pop and fizz when you throw them back. And who doesn't love a good throwback? Emergency crystals.
Ram makes trucks for everyone. Like those with holiday spirit. And those with not so much. We make trucks for good Samaritans, good neighbors, and even people covered in tree sap. Whatever life you live this holiday, Ram has a truck for you.
During the Ram Wrap Up the Year sales event, get 10% below MSRP plus no monthly payments for 90 days on virtually all 2023 Ram light duty and heavy duty trucks.
With Nurtec ODT, I can treat a migraine when it strikes and prevent migraine attacks, all in one.
Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. Allergic reactions can occur, even days after using. Most common side effects were nausea, indigestion, and stomach pain.
Ask about Nurtec ODT.
You're going to want to get the door because Jenny Craig is back and better than before. No more driving to the old Jenny Craig centers because the new Jenny Craig now has free nationwide delivery to your door. Plus, convenient online ordering to save you time and money.
My meals are prepped for me. I still get to pick and choose my favorite.
The original Jenny Craig recipes are back so you can enjoy delicious food every day while losing weight.
I lost 50 pounds. Woo!
Get breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks to kickstart healthy weight loss. Lose up to 24 pounds in just 8 weeks.
I feel amazing. I lost 35 pounds.
I've lost 30 pounds. As a mom, I take care of everybody else. Jenny takes care of me.
Losing weight with the new Jenny Craig has never been easier. Now with free nationwide delivery.
I've lost 50 pounds. I love being a part of the new Jenny.
Take advantage of our special offer. Get $40 off every shipment with promo code Jenny. Order now.
When your gut is out of balance, your body gives you signs. So if you're frustrated with occasional bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort, help stop the frustration and start taking Align every day. Align Probiotic was specifically designed by gastroenterologists to help relieve your occasional digestive upsets, so you can enjoy life. When you feel the signs, it's time to try Align.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private and doesn't spy on your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse like Chrome, but it blocks cookies and creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on all your devices today.
Let your feet take you wherever your spirit wants to go. The all-new Hurricane helps you navigate any surface so you can go anywhere your heart desires. Redesigned from top to bottom, it truly stands alone. Now you can walk easier down whatever path you choose. Move forward with confidence at hurricane.com. Also available at these fine retailers.
Cars will break down, and when they do, it's too late. If your car is out of warranty, it leaves you with two choices: get stuck paying for expensive repairs, or one phone call to CarShield. Their administrators pay for your covered repairs so you don't have to. Your coverage includes roadside assistance, towing, rental, and so much more. Plus, with their nationwide network, you choose the mechanic or dealer. Best of all, there's coverage for every wallet size. Make the smart call before it's too late. Call CarShield today.
Let's get you to some health news this morning. Major healthcare developments could be coming for you in 2024. For the first time in history, Big Pharma and Medicare officials will go toe-to-toe in negotiations to try lowering prescription drug prices.
And this would definitely help some of our seniors. We know that the FDA could review certain psychedelic drugs for PTSD treatment. And Stephanie Haynes joins us live to explain. Stephanie, this is something I was just telling Markie, eventually could help many of our seniors who are in a bit of a situation where they have to watch every penny.
Exactly, Nick. That is exactly the goal of this, and these preparations for these historic negotiations between the drug companies and Medicare officials are getting underway as we speak. And this is all under the Inflation Reduction Act. The Biden administration has labeled 10 Medicare Part D drugs as the first 10 it will start negotiating. And these are common prescriptions for blood clots, diabetes, arthritis, and more. You might see one that you take on your screen there. And these price negotiations will reportedly stay under wraps until officials reveal the final number that they think is the fair maximum price. That's set for September, but drug companies have sued and filed other legal actions to try to stop this process. So the soonest you could see lowered prices because of these negotiations might not be until 2026. But starting next month, certain drug makers may have to pay a fine, a penalty, if their prices went up faster than the rate of inflation. So those enrolled in Medicare could save more than $2,700 per average dose. That's according to the White House. And then switching gears, you know, this is a big year for healthcare. We can expect the enthusiasm around psychedelic drugs to treat mental health. That enthusiasm may accelerate. You know, the first ever application seeking approval for MDMA, that's otherwise known as ecstasy, has been submitted to the FDA, and researchers want it to be used as a way to help treat PTSD. Now, this would be under a doctor's supervision and with talk therapy, with a therapist in the room as well. Both Democratic and Republican lawmakers have expressed support for this. Some medical workers say they are totally gung-ho, and others say not so fast.
Getting you out of these very dark places, lowering the central sensitization to pain, getting you sleeping better, you know, taking the suicidality out of your mind, you know, at that acute moment and making you open to therapy. We need the opportunity to look at those. We need the opportunity to study them.
More science is required. I want to make sure that everybody who feels that there's potential pursue that. And that goes back to the value of rewarding innovation. Relative to something happening in 2024, relative to an approved psychotropic drug coming on the market, I wouldn't bet my money on it.
And here's the thing, Nick, you know, MDMA, again, ecstasy, that party drug, as it was commonly known as, is still considered a Schedule I drug by the DEA, the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration. So that means Schedule I means that there is no accepted medical use and it has a high potential for abuse. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out in the year 2024, Nick.
We'll definitely keep an eye on this. Stephanie Haynes, thank you so much.
Well, still ahead, News Nation. As you know, we've been at the southern border all year long. I mean, not even all year long. For the last 3 years, every single day, covering the crisis from every single angle. We're about to look back on the lengths migrants have been going to in order to chase down the American dream in 2023.
And in just over 3 hours from now, the Idaho house where 4 college students were killed is set to be demolished, while the families of some victims say the home should stay standing.
New emergency crystals pop and fizz when you throw them back. And who doesn't love a good throwback? Emergency crystals.
With Gold Bond, you can age on your own terms.
Retinol Overnight means the smoothing benefits of retinol are now for your whole body. Plus, fast-working crepe corrector diminishes wrinkled skin in just 2 days. Gold Bond, championing your skin.
Have you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Wait, you look and sound just like me. Actually, I am you. Because I'm the same news programs on Sling for less. You mean you're me, but for less money? A lot less. I'm all your favorite news programs and more on Sling, starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money, which makes me greater, don't you think? It's the same news for less, starting at $40 a month.
Over 13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022. and the threats go way beyond just credit card fraud. Today's identity thieves can open loans, transfer home titles, and even commit crimes in your name.
Someone got my social security number, made a driver's license, and was used for criminal activity.
Your information is exposed through online shopping, banking, even corporate data breaches. No wonder there's a new victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. Only LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats all in one place.
I clicked, "That's not me," and LifeLock took it from there.
If you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix the issue. All LifeLock members are backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package, including reimbursement for stolen funds.
I will be with LifeLock forever.
Enrollment takes just minutes. Call now or go online and use promo code GET25 to save 25% on your first year. Enroll now.
Muscle cramps were keeping me up at night, so then I tried SlowMag, the magnesium plus calcium supplement that helps relax tense muscles so I can rest comfortably. And SlowMag tablets have a slow-release formula that's gentle on my stomach. That's why I use SlowMag.
Right now, get a free footlong at Subway, like the new Deli Heroes. Buy 1 footlong in the app, get 1 free.
It's a pretty big deal.
Kinda like me. Order in the Subway app today.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay.
And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling in RA and PSA, relieve fatigue for some, and stop joint damage. And in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin, heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occur. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
AbbVie could help you save.
Back to you now on your Thursday morning. And you know, this year we have witnessed the crisis at the border reach a whole new level, from the lengths people are willing to go to get into this country to how every single state across America is feeling its impact.
Absolutely. And NewsNation has been on the ground covering every aspect of it from the start. Here's Allie Bradley.
Tens of thousands of migrants cross the border each and every day, from as far away as the Middle East, the African continent, South America, even China, fleeing conflicts, violence, and persecution.
Why did you decide to come to America?
向往美国的自由.
Yearning for American freedom. They're risking life and limb to make the treacherous journey into the U.S., each person with a different story, all with the same goal, to chase the American dream.
America is my dream.
I want to be successful, and I want to help people back home too.
America, the good country.
I like this country, so if I dead, you can bury me here.
But for many, that American fantasy often turning into a nightmare. NewsNation was there in Eagle Pass, Texas, and captured the moment some of those asylum seekers arrived on dry land, some unresponsive, after enduring a harrowing journey and had to be revived using CPR. Hundreds of people are crossing over from Mexico, crossing the Rio Grande, and this morning what we're dealing with is thick, heavy fog. You can hear the people, but you can hardly even see them. That is just one of the elements that law enforcement on the front lines are dealing with every day out here. Border officials also dealing with a surge in migrant smuggling, so-called coyotes preying on people's desperation, often charging thousands of dollars when they can't even guarantee safe passage. And that means scenes like these. Caught on camera of a mother carrying her crying child, a piece of cardboard shielding her from barbed wire, and finding inventive ways to scale what looks like an impenetrable border wall. Our cameras were rolling as a smuggler, using a system of ropes, hoists a migrant up and over the fence. Border Patrol also telling me coyotes are offering migrants so-called survival kits to help evade border agents and arrive in the U.S. undetected. So here's what you're going to see. You're going to see something like this. This is a shirt with some kind of hood. You also have a pair of pants here with just a simple drawstring that'll fit just about anybody. But here's the most interesting part. These are carpet booties, and these go right over any shoe that someone's wearing. And look at that. No tracks left behind. And once these migrants arrive on U.S. soil, it's not all smooth sailing. Border apprehensions are on the rise as migrants wait in droves to be processed. And that has border towns like El Paso reaching a breaking point. These people have decided not to self-surrender to Border Patrol agents. They do not have any release paperwork. So right now, this is what they're doing, is they are making a home on the streets here in El Paso, waiting for bus fare, waiting to get on one of these buses. But the stories you don't often see come from within Mexico, inside violent, crime-ridden neighborhoods where cartels battle for influence.
If you want to understand how dangerous it is here in Tijuana, one of the most violent cities in the whole world, look at the security detail that the mayor of Tijuana has to travel with. Multiple bodyguards as she's in the beauty salon, and down there, the Mexican National Guard, multi-vehicle caravan. It feels like the president is here.
And News Nation was there to document a father's desperate search for the remains of his lost son.
Mi motivación es buscar y encontrar a mi hijo Eric Carrillo.
We are in the rural areas of Rosarito here in Mexico on the Tijuana border, and we joined a volunteer group whose main goal is to find dead Mexican nationals who have been buried and have not been discovered.
As the sun sets on another day at the border, with people carrying their hopes, dreams, and tragic circumstances, News Nation will be back in 2024 with more of the stories you care about amid ongoing efforts to solve a growing crisis.
Definitely a tough situation where political leaders will have to do something.
Absolutely. Well, still a lot of big headlines to get to right here on Morning in America. Our next hour starts right now.
Being able to bring that house down brings some closure.